Hello, my name is Donnie Harris. I am 30 years old. I have three beautiful daughters. I have 9 brothers and sisters. Um, I graduated from Butler University with a BA in journalism, and I'm a writer, and I stay home with my 3-year-old. I have an amazing husband who supports me in every way and is always there for me. Um, and I'm completely coming out as bipolar, well, bipolar 2. And I've already come out as bisexual, so coming out as bipolar, for me it's a little bit harder because there is a stigma around being bipolar 1 or being bipolar 2. And most people have no idea what the difference is. So I'm going to use the little time I have because I know the kids are going to come and so with the little time I have, I'm just going to talk to you about my experience and what I've gone through. Talking about stigma. Well, the reason I mentioned that is because when you tell people that you are bipolar, they start telling you their stories about people they know as who are bipolar and things that they've done. I had somebody, I told them I was bipolar too, and just discussing it with them, and they were like, "Oh yeah, I know a lady. She was bipolar, and she was having a hard time, and eventually she threw herself off a bridge." So, that is not a story that you tell somebody when they're talking to you about it. So, what's the difference between bipolar 2 and bipolar 1? Well, first, let me explain to you about bipolar. So, if you've been to a psychologist, therapist, and you've been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, what that means is that you have a mood disorder first and foremost. It's not a personality disorder, it's a mood disorder. Your moods abnormally spectacular and abnormally terrible. So you will be extremely happy one day, month, and then the next day or the next hour or the next month, you can't get off the couch, you're depressed, suicidal, sometimes suicidal, and it's like you've hit rock bottom. And some people don't understand that because they just see like, oh my gosh, she's such an amazing person, she's so outgoing, and then all of a sudden she's not going out, not partying with you, doesn't want to talk to you, won't answer her phone. It's, you look at it as like, wow, what's wrong with her? So, bipolar 1 is not what I have. And bipolar 1 is very extreme highs and very low lows. What I have is, so if you have a scale, you would say, to explain it better, if you have a scale, you would say, extreme high, extreme low, and, normal in the middle. Well, bipolar 2 or hypomania, where we have hypomania and depression, you would kind of drop the scale a little. So we don't have as high highs. The highs can be good. Like, we will have excessive energy for no goddamn reason. There have been times where my husband has seen me at 1:30 in the morning vacuuming and cleaning and going through cabinets and wiping walls. And when I was younger, I was the teenage with angst, and everybody said, oh, you're ultra sensitive. And then I had a lot of rage issues, and then I would be uber depressed. And nobody thought anything like, or at least my family in particular, didn't believe in therapists, psychologists, and it's home remedies, or if you're depressed, it's a mood you can get out of, get up, party, do something, you can get out of that depressed mood. But I would spend summers, and I don't know why I didn't compare what I experienced to what my roommate experienced, but I would spend summers sleeping entire summers away. And yeah, I had friends, but I didn't trust a lot of people, and I don't know, I guess my bipolar bipolar, with the symptoms that I would have, I never knew why I couldn't keep friends. And it always came down to me freaking out on like I would get to a point where I would just completely freak out on somebody for something I'm passionate about. And I found out like that's how my hypomania would present itself. So anyway, I'm going on a tangent because my brain just can't stay in a particular place. So I would sleep summers away. I used to cut because I would be so depressed. Anything would depress me. Anything would make me cry. Well, over the years, met my husband, and I don't know how he stuck around this long. It's been 12 years and we've been married for 8, and I have no clue why he's still here, because I know I put him through some shit like no other. And we're gonna get a divorce. I'm gonna kick you to the curb, like moments. Actually, we did have a moment where he was like, "I'm leaving." I was crazy, and and not crazy in the institutional sense, but I was doing some very weird things, and he couldn't take it anymore. And he was like, "I'm out of here." And what did I do? Instead of saying, "I apologize, I'm sorry, I don't want you to leave," no. I started bagging up all of his stuff and kicking it down the stairs and slinging garbage bags at him. It was so terrible. And he went through that, and he stuck around, and he made babies with me. In 2010, when my mom passed away, it got worse. In 2010, I stopped sleeping. I would say I always blamed it on the fact that when I did lay down to go to sleep, my mind would not do that. My body would lay down and go to sleep, and my mind would be like, "Fuck you, I got some more shit to do." And I didn't want to think about my mom's death. I didn't want to think about any of it. So I just stayed up and watched TV, ate, and wrote, and all that stuff. And then finally I realized I have to sleep, because I will stay up all night, but the next day I still have to be a productive, functioning adult. So I would be extra irritable. The kids would drive me crazy, and I'd be like, "Can I give them away? And I love them so much?" But it would make me depressed, because no one ever wants to feel like their family is a hindrance to their life. Think about that. And it would drive me crazy, because I would feel so bad for even thinking that. And then we moved to California, and across the country, and I fell apart. I literally fell apart. My panic attacks and my anxiety was so bad that I had to go see somebody. I had to talk to somebody, because the people around me, there was no way they were going to get it. There was no way they were going to understand how I felt. And in some days I felt like suicide, and some days I felt like homicide, like really. And I was like, I need something. And I told my husband, "I need to talk to somebody." And he said, "Set it up, whatever you need, I'm here for you." Some days are hard for him to deal with me, and some days it's hard for me to deal with him. But my therapist is helping. I got help. And when they told me I was bipolar, I jumped up and down. Yes. You would not think I'd be that excited, but I was, because that means we knew what was wrong with me. We knew what was going on, and we can fix it, is what I thought. We can fix this. And I came home, and I told my 14-year-old, I'm like forgetting her age. I told my 14-year-old that I was diagnosed with bipolar. And I expected my family to go, "Oh, no. My 14-year-old said, Yeah, I knew that. I figured that was coming. And I'm like, really? Really? You could have told me. And I'm going to do another one, like a part two. But I'm doing these videos and I'm starting all this because I know that there are people out there with bipolar 1, bipolar 2, and you want to hear somebody talk about it. You want to hear somebody say what they went through, because it's not a good thing to feel. It can be really bad and dark, but it can be really good. The next video I do is going to be about my medication and the struggles I had with that. And then I'm going to talk about my family, and then make a video talking about some of the things I've gone through since my diagnosis or before my diagnosis. So stick with me. Subscribe, and we'll get to know each other very well. If you have any questions, you'll get the information to tell you where to go. All right, have a good one.